Planning to visit Australia? Wondering how to apply for a visitor visa? Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration. Well, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll be diving into the world of visitor visas for Australia. But first, let's get some basics out of the way. A visitor visa, also known as a tourist visa, is a type of visa that allows you to stay in Australia for a certain period of time, usually for the purpose of tourism or visiting family and friends. Now, who can apply for this type of visa? Essentially, anyone who is not an Australian citizen or permanent resident is eligible to apply. Whether you're a globetrotter looking to explore the land down under, or you're planning to visit your mates or family, you'll need a visitor visa. So, if you're thinking about taking a trip down under, stay tuned to find out how to apply for your visitor visa. A visitor visa, also known as Subclass 600, is for those who wish to visit Australia for tourism or business purposes. This visa offers a fantastic opportunity for individuals to explore the scenic beauty of Australia, visit family and friends, or engage in business activities. It's like a key that unlocks the door to the land down under. Whether you're hoping to catch a glimpse of the iconic Sydney Opera House, snorkel in the Great Barrier Reef, or attend a business conference in Melbourne. Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration. So who's eligible to apply for a visitor visa? Basically, anyone who's not an Australian citizen or permanent resident can apply. But it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. There are a few different streams under the Subclass 600 visa, each tailored to suit different purposes. These include the tourist stream, for those who want to sightsee or visit family, the business visitor stream, for people looking to engage in business activities, and the sponsored family stream, for those visiting family in Australia. Now, you might be wondering, how long can I stay in Australia on a visitor visa? Well, the length of your stay will depend on the stream you apply under and the specific conditions of your visa. Usually, you may be granted a visa that allows you to stay for up to 3, 6, or 12 months at a time. Remember, a visitor visa is not a work visa. It's intended for temporary visits. So while you can engage in certain business activities on this visa, you can't work in Australia. Health insurance is also a crucial consideration. Australia has a world-class healthcare system, but medical costs can add up quickly if you're not covered. So it's highly recommended to have adequate health insurance during your stay. In conclusion, a visitor visa is a popular choice for those wishing to visit Australia for a short period. It's flexible, catering to a range of purposes, but it's important to understand the conditions and requirements that come with it. Now that we've covered what a visitor visa is, let's move on to the application process. Applying for a visitor visa involves a few key steps. It's not just about packing your bags and heading to the airport. There's a process to follow, and getting it right can be the difference between a smooth journey and a trip full of hurdles. So where do you start? Well, the first step is to apply. You can do this online through the Australian Government's Department of Home Affairs website. This is your go-to platform for all things visa-related. It's user-friendly and provides clear instructions on how to proceed. Next, you need to gather your documents. These are crucial because they provide evidence to support your application. The documents you'll need can vary depending on your circumstances, but generally, they include a copy of your passport, proof of financial means, and confirmation of health insurance. You may also need to provide a letter of invitation if you're visiting family or friends, or details of your travel itinerary if you're touring. Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration. For anyone under 18, there's an additional requirement. They must have consent from a parent or guardian. This needs to be in writing, and it's required whether the minor is traveling alone or with others. Once you have your documents, it's time to fill out the application form. This is an online form, and it's pretty straightforward. You'll need to provide personal details, information about your travel plans, and any other relevant information. It's important to be truthful and accurate when filling out the form. Any discrepancies can lead to delays or even a refusal of your application. Now let's talk about money. Applying for a visitor visa comes with a cost. The exact amount can vary, but as a rough guide, you can expect to pay around 140 Australian dollars. Payment is made online through the Department of Home Affairs website. Then it's time to submit. Once you've paid the fee and completed the form, you can submit your application. It's as simple as clicking a button. But remember, once you've submitted, you can't make any changes. So make sure everything is in order before you hit that submit button. After submission, you'll receive a transaction reference number. This is a unique identifier for your application. Keep it safe because you'll need it to track the progress of your application. And that's it. You've applied for your visitor visa. It might seem like a lot, but each step is crucial and helps ensure that your application is processed smoothly. One final tip before we wrap up: start early. Visa processing times can vary, and sometimes it can take several weeks for your application to be processed. So don't leave it to the last minute. Plan ahead and give yourself plenty of time. Once you've submitted your application, it's time to wait for your visa to be processed. But don't worry, you've done your part. Now it's over to the experts at the Department of Home Affairs. After submitting your application, you might be wondering, how long until I get my visa? And can I work during my stay? Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration. The processing time for a visitor visa to Australia varies depending on a number of factors. These include the time of year, the completeness of your application, and the volume of applications being processed at any given time. Generally, though, you can expect a processing period of anywhere from a few weeks to a few months. It's crucial, therefore, to plan your trip well in advance and apply for your visa as early as possible. Now let's address the question of work rights. It's important to note that a visitor visa is not a work visa. The primary purpose of your stay should be tourism, visiting friends or family, or for business visitor activities. Working while on a visitor visa is generally not allowed. However, there are some exceptions. Business visitor activities, for example, are permissible. These might include attending conferences, negotiations, or exploratory business visits. But these activities must not involve work that could be done by an Australian resident. Volunteer work is another area where exceptions might apply. But again, there are restrictions. The work must be genuinely voluntary, and you must not receive any form of payment apart from meals, accommodation, and out-of-pocket living expenses. Breaking these rules can lead to serious consequences, including the cancellation of your visa and being barred from returning to Australia for a certain period of time. So it's essential to understand and respect the conditions of your visa. In conclusion, while the processing time for a visitor visa can vary, you should apply as far in advance as possible. And while work is generally not allowed on a visitor visa, there are some exceptions for business visitor activities and volunteer work. Always remember to respect the conditions of your visa to avoid any complications. Having understood your rights and restrictions, let's move on to the importance of health insurance. Healthcare in Australia can be expensive for visitors. That's where health insurance comes in. When planning your trip to the land down under, it's crucial to factor in health coverage. This is not just a wise decision, but it's also a requirement when applying for a visitor visa. You see, the Australian government expects you to have adequate health insurance for the duration of your stay. This is to ensure that you can pay for any potential medical costs you may incur while in the country. So it's not just about ticking a box on the visa application form, but it's about your well-being and financial security too. So what does adequate health insurance mean? Well, the Australian Department of Home Affairs doesn't provide a specific definition, but as a general rule of thumb, your policy should cover you for medically necessary treatment and emergencies. This might include doctor's visits, hospital stays, prescription medication, and ambulance services. It's also worth considering coverage for things like repatriation, which is the cost of returning to your home country for medical treatment. Choosing the right health insurance can seem daunting, but there are many providers that offer policies tailored to the needs of visitors. Some of the popular ones include Bupa, Medibank, and Allianz. Remember, the cost of the policy is less important than the coverage it provides. Always read the fine print to understand what's included and what's not. Lastly, keep in mind that health insurance is not a substitute for taking care of yourself. While in Australia, it's important to follow local health advice, such as wearing sunscreen and staying hydrated. So as you're preparing your visa application, don't forget to sort out your health insurance. It's not just a requirement, it's your ticket to a worry-free visit to the beautiful continent of Australia. Now that we've covered health insurance, let's tackle some common questions about visitor visas. You're bound to have questions when applying for a visitor visa. We've gathered some of the most frequently asked ones to help clear things up. Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration. Let's jump right in. A common question we hear is, can I extend my stay on a visitor visa in Australia? The answer is, it depends. In most cases, yes, you can apply for an extension of your visitor visa. But remember, approval is not guaranteed and will depend on your circumstances and the discretion of the immigration authorities. Another frequently asked question is, what happens if my visa application is denied? If your application is denied, you will receive a refusal letter from the Australian Immigration Department. This letter will explain why your application was rejected and whether you have the right to review the decision. If you think there's been a mistake, you can appeal the decision within a specified period. Now, what are the work rights on a visitor visa? Well, a visitor visa is generally for tourism purposes, and working rights are not typically included. However, certain conditions might allow limited work rights, so it's crucial to check the details of your specific visa. Next up, a question we often encounter is, do I need to have a return ticket when I apply for a visitor visa? It's not a mandatory requirement to have a return ticket when you apply. However, having a return ticket could help to demonstrate your intention to leave Australia at the end of your visit, which could be beneficial for your application. A question that often comes up is, can I study on a visitor visa? Visitor visa holders can study or take a training course for up to 3 months. If you plan to study for a longer period, you will need to apply for a student visa. Another query we often encounter is, do I need to undertake a health examination for a visitor visa? It depends on various factors such as your age, the length of your stay, and your intended activities in Australia. If required, the Immigration Department will inform you. The question, what happens if my visitor visa expires while I'm in Australia, is also common. If this happens, you will be in Australia unlawfully, which can have serious consequences. It's essential to maintain a valid visa while you're in the country. Finally, can I apply for another visa while I'm in Australia on a visitor visa? The answer is generally yes. You can apply for another visa while you're in Australia. However, you need to meet the eligibility requirements for the new visa. Hopefully, we've answered some of your burning questions about visitor visas. So, there you have it, a comprehensive guide on how to apply for a visitor visa to Australia. Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration. We've taken a deep dive into what a visitor visa for Australia entails. It's the golden ticket for those wishing to explore the land down under, whether it's for tourism, business visitor activities, or visiting family and friends. Remember, it's not just about the destination, it's about ensuring you're eligible and have all the necessary paperwork in order. We've walked through the application process step by step, highlighting the importance of ticking every box, from completing the application form to paying the visa application charge. It's a process that requires patience and attention to detail, but with our guidance, it should be a little less daunting. We've discussed the visa processing times, reminding you that patience truly is a virtue when waiting for your application to be processed. It's crucial to keep in mind that processing times for visitor visas can vary, so it's always wise to apply well in advance of your planned trip. We've also touched on the work rights associated with the visitor visa. Remember, this visa does not generally permit you to work in Australia, so it's important to understand and respect the conditions of your visa. Health insurance is a vital part of preparing for your trip. We've underscored the importance of securing adequate health insurance to cover any unforeseen medical expenses during your stay in Australia. It's not just about ticking a box on the application form, but about ensuring your peace of mind while you're exploring new terrains. And finally, we've addressed some of the most frequently asked questions about the visitor visa, providing clarity on common queries and concerns. It's always good to know you're not alone in your queries and that most of your questions have been asked and answered before. With this information, you're well equipped to start your Australian adventure. Safe travels. Welcome to the Migration HQ YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our channel for the latest content on migration and international education-related information on Australian migration.